Hello, everyone, and welcome to Maximizing Bluebeam, Markup List, and Tool Chest. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenter is Julian, our applications specialist. In today's webinar, hopefully you'll discover how to maximize your efficiency and productivity within Bluebeam by leveraging Markup List and tool chest effectively. As usual, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. You can ask Julian to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media and website. Also, make sure to check our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end so you can share with colleagues or watch it on your own time. And we will be also sending the on-demand recording of this webinar tomorrow, I believe. So yeah, without further ado, I'll pass it on to Julian. Hi, Juli.
Hi, Juliana. Thank you for the introduction. Let's get started with this session. Now I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you guys can see it.
Yep.
Alrighty. So I'm going to jump in right away into Bluebeam. So something that we would like to share with you today. Oh, just give me a second. I'm going to make sure that I'm sharing my entire screen. There we go. Alrighty, so can everyone see my Bluebeam screen right there?
Yes.
Awesome. So once again, welcome. This is another installment of our Bluebeam series. And this session, as Juliana mentioned, we are going to get the most of the markup list and the tool chest. As you can see right here, I have a simple drawing within my Bluebeam. If you're wondering which drawing I'm using, well, you can go right there to the help menu, and in the welcome to review, this is the sample file. So the sample file, always handy, always useful when it comes to testing out your tools. Now, if you have been watching our previous videos at this point in our previous webinars, you know that we have a bunch of different markups. We have been using the Cloud Plus. We have been using some of the measurement tools, right? And you know that when it comes to using a markup, right, we have the option to select it. And right here at the top left, we are going to be able to find which type of markup it is, right? We can assign it a subject. We can create a label. So it's easy for us next time when we are creating a markup, right? Quickly identify what we are doing. And at some point, well, this is going to get a little bit difficult to track, right? Because visually, well, you're seeing a bunch of different colors, you're seeing a bunch of different symbols. But the idea is that we want to understand as part of the design and construction, what does this markups mean, right? In design and construction can get a little bit complicated because some of these drawings are going to be overwhelming. So we need to be able to stay organized and track things efficiently, right? Now, before we mention kind of like all these markups and all these elements, we would like to bring to your attention what is going to be the markup list. Now, the markup list is going to be available right here at the bottom left of your screen. And we are going to click that menu right there with the bullets, right? Now, you're automatically are going to get this menu that you're going to be able to enlarge or reduce as you might need, right? That is the way that you're going to open it. If you want to close it as well, you can click right there in the option for markups. I'm going to give you a quick access to it. Now, this is going to look similar, kind of like to a spreadsheet, right? If you're familiar with Excel or any other document type of file, you're going to notice that it's divided by columns, right? And this is the way that we are going to be able to track all the markups and all the data that we are creating. So there's a lot of data that is going to be associated with those markups that we have right there. Information such as the who create the markup, and as well, you can see right here that when I select a markup, it's going to automatically highlight the markup. And on the subject is the same information that I modify right here at the top left. So right here, you can see that the subject for that particular markup is going to be the contractor, right? And it's going to remember all those edits that I make visually, right? So the line color is going to remember, for example, the line style, right? I can change additional stuff such as fonts and all that stuff. So this is going to be really cool. Now, in addition to that, you can follow right here with the columns. And some of the information that I can add is comments, right? So let me go ahead and create a new fresh markup. I'm going to go right here to my tools at the right side. And I'm going to use, for example, the arrow. And I'm going to create an arrow right here. And you're going to see automatically how it's been placed in my drawing. The subject is going to have the same name as my markup. And right here, I can add a comment. So double clicking on that empty area of the comment, and I can say, hello, everyone, at the webinar, right? So that information is going to be available right there for me and my team next time that I'm seeing that markup, right? As well, you can see who created that markup, right? So you can see me right there with the date and timestamp, right? So really great information that I'm going to be able to use and track during my project. Now, I can go ahead and navigate through all these callouts and see all the data associated to it. Even stuff like the color, I'm going to be able to quickly find it. So it's going to be a little bit easy for me to see. I have additional columns such as the layers, the space, right? And elements are really cool, such as the status, because right there on the status, you can go ahead and create and modify the status, such as you are going to be able to accept that markup, or let's say this one right here, as you can see in the background, is selecting the flooring of that conference room, rejecting it. So you're going to be able to create this workflow to do a quality assurance of your drawings. You're tracking all the information from the users of this file. You can create a workflow for designing, for reviewing, for creating field issues, right? And this way to track the information is super helpful, especially when you're creating bids or when you're doing a revision of your current project. Now, something cool as well is that I'm going to be able to filter all this information, right? Right here at the top, I have the filter list, and you can customize it by creating your own filters, right? You can use right here these menus so you can organize it. So right here, you can see that is alphanumerical, right? So I can organize the date. I can search right here in my markup list. So for my markup, so I'm going to start typing in my name. And you can see right there the markups that I have been creating. So if someone else is accessing this file and they are not the user of that markup, you can see right there in the background, it's going to be grayed out everything that is not the markup that I currently have selected. So it's going to be a little bit easy for me to work on this drawing. I'm only going to take care of the markups that are associated or created by me. So super useful. Now, at some point, let's say that you want to take a look of the contractor, right? So by typing in right there, contractor, you can see the subject. As well, you can filter by author, as you just saw on my name, right? And in the background, you can see how it's only going to highlight those important markers. So it's going to be easy for you to track and collaborate with your teammates, adjusting this to your view, right? And cleaning up some of this information later in your design. Now, at some point, you have been using the filter, you're noticing that this is grading out all the other ones that we are not using, and probably you might want to create a progress report, right? And you might need to take measurement data, send this to Excel, right? So make this available for everyone else in your team. So notice right here next to the filter list, you have the option to create a summary report. Now, the formats that you're going to be able to see are CSV, if you want to send this to Excel, XML as well, if you want to send it to Excel, or you can create a PDF summary. Once you click that option, it's going to give you a nice dialog box with all the options available that you can go ahead and modify and customize. Alrighty? Within the summary, what you're going to be able to modify is export it as a certain type of file, right? You're going to be able to do what? Well, change the name of the export, right? But as well, if you have a template, you can create a template for your report, right? And in addition to this, you can add other floor plans. So currently I only have one. So I can add multiple drawings, and those drawings are going to read through the markup list, and I'm going to be able to see that report. So right here, I'm going to save that configuration. The configuration, as you can see, is going to have a format. I'm going to save it right there on my desktop, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, the time that is going to take to process the summary is not going to be that long, right? Right away, you're going to be able to see a new file that is saved on my desktop. And something cool that you can do right here is scroll down and see kind of like all the basic information of those markups that we create. At some point, something that you're going to be able to do as well with those reports, let me test it out once again, is, for example, link some of the information from that report to the original file, right? So using some of the tools that we saw on our last session, such as the hyperlink, I'm going to be able to link this image to the other file, right? So I'm going to be able to quickly access and navigate. But with this, it's going to be more than enough data. So I can see separated the comments, right? I can see a preview image of the markup, and I'm going to be able to quickly navigate through this and see, okay, so everything that I can see on this detail, this is going to be start organized by the contractor. Then later I can jump into another user. And as you can see, I can navigate all this up to the last that I create with timeframes and all that important stuff that we need for our project. Now, this is kind of like the basic on the markup list, right? You're going to find a way to organize and customize your markups and your projects to quickly communicate this information to your team members. Now, following this, our next feature that we are going to see today is going to be the tool chest. Now, we are going to find it right here at the tools panel at the left side. So you can see it right there. The small image looks like a tool chest. I'm going to open that panel, and what we are going to be able to do is take basic markups, turn them into custom tools, or we can use some of the default ones that are available that we have been creating and save them for quick access. Now, when I open my tool chest, what you're going to see is this, kind of like my tools, my recent tools, some of the default ones that have been created using the different profiles from Bluebeam, right? And these ones I can go ahead and edit, right? Or I can quickly reuse them. Now, you can see that we have different sections right here in the tool chest. And at the top right, you have options to modify the settings. So maybe you would like to show them instead of the symbol, show the detail, right? You can set a scale to some of those elements. What is great about this is that you can export it and share it with your team members. You can pin it, so it's going to give you a quick access. And by pin, you can later reuse all these elements. Now, how you're going to use this? So inside the tool chest, what you can do is click on one of those, and it's automatically going to give you access to place them. So last time, in one of our sessions, we create this tool, right? We create kind of like a conference table with some chairs. I'm going to be able to quickly place it. Now there's another feature that you're going to notice right here. If you need to use the exact same markup, but you want to change the form or its drawing properties, you can double click on top of it. And it's going to highlight kind of like in blue. And what we can do with those recent tools is that later when I place it, so for example, let me give it a test with this one, the rectangle. If I double click on it, you can see that now instead of the basic rectangle, something that I can do is customize it, giving it its own size. Now with these guys in particular, when they are groups, an option that we have is that we can right click, change some of the colors, create kind of like a duplicate of those components, right? But we can customize our markups this way to quickly access and modify some of our drawings. Now, there are going to be other settings that we can edit and adjust when it comes to the use of the tool chest. But basically is that we can import as well additional tool chests, right? So you can see right here at the bottom, I have some HVAC docs and symbols that I can quickly place in my drawing, right? Once again, these ones have been previously created by other users, and how I'm going to be able to import them. Well, the option is quite simple. Right here, Bluebeam has some custom libraries, and something that we can do is use Bluebeam as well as a browser. So notice right here, we have a link to a site, right? And with that link to that site, I can open up, for example, right here, the Welcome to Review menu. This tool right here, you're going to find available. It's a quick access to a link, so you can access and browse the internet without having to load up your Google Chrome or your Edge, right? So that is a really nice feature. You can also type in right here, web tab. It's going to give you a quick access to the web. And right here, the link that I'm about to show you is the support Bluebeam custom libraries. Now you can as well look at right there at Google, but the idea of these custom libraries is that I'm going to be able to quickly find tool sets, stamps, profiles. And right here, when it comes to the tool sets, the installation is going to be really easy. So you can look through the different disciplines. For example, right there, the architecture one, let's say that I would like to add people. I'm going to click right there. Automatically, it's going to give me a zip folder. I'm going to save it right there in my desktop. And with that folder, what I can do is the following. Let me just minimize this for a minute. You can see right there that zip folder. You can extract it at that location, and you're going to get this file, the BTX file. You're going to double click, and automatically the software, what it's going to do is loading and importing the tool chest. So I can hit OK, and you can see it right here. Now I can go to my floor plan, and let's add a couple of users right here to my drawing. So I can quickly customize some of these markups, and as you can see, I'm going to be able to rotate them, adjust them as I need to. So really great, useful tool when it comes to customizing the markups that we are using on a day-to-day basis. Last one that I want to share with you is something that I shared on our last session. You can create your custom markups by doing the following. So you can go ahead and create, for example, a rectangle, a line right here. Something that you're going to be able to do after doing this is slightly do a couple of minor cleanups. Let's say that I would like to have a fill on this, like this. There we go. Now let's say that that is going to be my new markup. What I can do is select it, right click, I can group it. So as a group, I can add it, or I can select it and then right click, add it to my tools. But notice that when I add it to my tools, it's going to be separate. So one is going to be the rectangle, other one is going to be the line. So my recommendation is going to be right click. And with that option, you can group it. Now, when I add it to my tools, right click, apply to tool chest, my tools. Now I'm going to have it available. Next time that I want to use it, just click it right here and place it in any area that I want from my project. But this is what we wanted to bring up for today's session, right? Really, really cool tools that is going to streamline your process, is going to make it a little bit more efficiency. Especially right here, the markup list, right? I'm going to be able to see all the markups from all the users. In the tool chest, you can customize it for your company. Alrighty, guys. So this is what I wanted to bring to your attention today. And let's go ahead and continue with the questions.
Thank you, Juli, for that great presentation. And yeah, let's see what questions we have. Okay, the first question is, can I export the markup list?
Yes. So you remember right here at the markups, when you select the menu and load it, right here at the top right, we have the summary. This is the way to export it. The one that I show on the session was the PDF summary, but you can print it or you can create a format for Excel, such as XML summary or CSV summary. So yes, you can export your markups information, your markup list.
Great. The second question is, can I load the tool chest from someone else in my office?
Yes. So what I recommend right there is first, what you're going to do is you can see right here, mine are the recent tools. So you're going to go to settings right here for this recent tools. Now notice that I don't have an option to export them, right? So what I usually recommend is that you create your own tools. By default, you're going to get my tools. These ones you can export. So you are going to export them and you're going to save in a location that you want. So let's say MicroCAD tools, right? The extension is going to be .btx. You're going to save it right here. I have it on my desktop. And once you have it on your desktop, what you're going to do is double click on it, and you're going to see this message, successfully imported toolset. Now, in the list right here is going to appear all the way down, and you can see the My Tools, right? Once again, available. And something that you can do as well right here is change some of the basic definitions, right? You can remove some of these elements, you can add new elements, right? And you can continue customizing that tools. Alrighty.
Actually, the next question is it possible to make a custom tool set of the components I use in Revit?
So on that one, what I will recommend is, for example, if in Revit you're using this element right here, such as an element as a plumbing fixture, right? You can do kind of like a trace of that component and slightly start adjusting it. So adjusting right here, for example, the line type, making sure that it's going to be thinner. All right, that could be one of the first options. So you get a trace of the family or the component that you're using on Revit, right? And then save it into your tool chest. That will be one of the options. The other one could be trying to find a custom tool set similar to the one that I showed you today. For example, if in Revit you do a lot of architecture or landscaping, right here you're going to find some default options that you can load, or you can even go ahead and browse for different extensions in Google, Revit Revu custom libraries, right? To preload them in your tool chest, right? So those will be my recommendations. Now, there is not kind of like a way where you can export your Revit file, right? To turn it into a 2D type of image, right? So this will be the approaches that I can offer you when it comes to creating those and later easily transform. Now, this one as well is another tip that I have for you. You can load up on your computer the snipping tool, right? So the snipping tool, you know that it creates images. So what you can do is, for example, do the following. Select the snipping mode. You can use a window. What that is going to do is take an image of that particular area, right? Then you can copy it, and inside Review, right click and paste. So notice I use an image, and then what I can do is right click, convert that to my tool chest. Now, before you convert that, what I do recommend is go right here to the top left, and instead of call it image, you can call it plumbing fixture, right? And you can add to the tool chest where? To my tools. So next time I'm going to be using that one, I can simply go right here, load it, and notice I do have the option to use it as the original format as an image, or if you double click right here, how do you copy it and paste it? So I can start loading those ones right here. And those markups are going to be helpful for your team.
I hope that helps you. The other question I see is how do I change the scale of an item in the tool chest?
Alrighty. So right here, for example, I have the image. So what you can do is right here at the top right, I have my my properties. Now, when it comes to images, as you can see, I don't have an option to scale it accordingly to my drawing because it's an image. But for example, right here, if you create a line, right? Similar to the measurements that we are going to discuss as well in our following sessions, and we talk a little bit in our previous session, you're going to have right here basic information when it comes to the layout or the size of that particular line, right? And as well, there is a feature that I can show you on the following sessions, or you can click right here on the help menu. You can go right here to the training resources or the Bluebeam University. Right here, we can create custom markups, right? And these custom markups are going to have sizes similar to the ones from the scale of your drawing, meaning the following. So if this drawing that I'm currently using, let me check if this one has a scale right here noted. Well, it doesn't have it noted, but this one in particular that we have, the scale of this drawing, is going to be, let's say, a custom or a preset scale of 1/4 of an inch, right? I can make sure that the measurements that I have in my drawing matches the measurements that I have on the markups that I create. So that way I can make sure that, okay, if I'm loading a furniture, right? Or if I have an image right here that pretends to be a furniture, right? That is going to be automatically scaled to my drawing. So that way, that item in the tool chest, next time that you add it, it's always going to have that same scale. Now, to give you an example, let's say that this guy is going to be called table, right? Now that I make sure that this table has the scale that I want, right? I can right click, add it to my tool chest, my tools. So this guy right here is the table. Next time that I use it, automatically is going to have that same scale. And I don't need to worry to go back and forward adjusting the scale of that item. So that is an option. The other one, as I mentioned, we are going to cover a little bit more in our next session. But the option is called adjusting the markups on the scale drawing. But basically, it's going to create a markup and then assign it a scale on it. But I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Juli. And just for your information, that webinar is the next one we're having, right, Juli?
Yes.
So
Next
that
one.
will be on May 23rd, just for everyone to know. And the last question I see is, can you assign a reviewer to the markups?
Yes, great question. So as you can see right here, these are the default columns that I have. Let me close the properties right here at the right side. All right, so this right here are the default columns that I have when I load up the markup list, right? And you can see I can rearrange them as I need. But something that I can do is on the markup list, on the columns, so notice right here where I click. Once again, markup list, we have a drop-down menu, columns. These are the default ones that I have from the software. So you can go ahead and check if reviewer is available. If not, something that you can do is select the option manage columns. Now, on manage columns, you can see all the ones that are built in within the software, but at the right side, you can do custom column, and why not add? And the name of the custom is going to be reviewer, right? And then right there, you can say the type. So you can make the reviewer text, or for example, choice. And right there in choice, I'm going to add either the item or the subject. Now, in the subject, I believe John was the one who asked this question, so I can add John. Can hit OK. Now, it's added, right? I can hit OK. hit OK. Now, right here at the right side, you're going to see that now I have that column. And for this markup, I can double click right there. And in the option select, if I don't have predefined John as a reviewer, well, something that I can do is the following. So before I create the markups, I can make sure right here that the subject that I'm using matches the one that I just create. So for example, if John is going to be the reviewer, you can go ahead and create right here a markup previously. In the subject, make sure that it matches yours, right? So we have multiple options. So you can select one of that options to assign John, or just make it a little bit more simple. Right here, once again, in the manage columns, let's edit this one. Instead of the choice option, where you select John, just simply keep it as a text, right? And the default value, you can create John. Okay, okay. And right here on the reviewer, is going to be automatically assigned to John, or you can keep changing right here the name. So this one is going to be reviewed by me, right? This one right here, you can select multiple of them. Let me enlarge this guy. Multiple of them. And right here, modify them. So Julian, right? So this is the way that you can assign those to the markups. And next time, you can go ahead and export and create your summary. So that way, you're going to have not only the author, but as well the reviewer. So customizing right there your markups, columns, remember selected right here, columns, manage columns. Alrighty. I hope that answered your question, John.
Thank you, Juli. Okay, and if I don't see any more questions, I would like to thank everyone for attending. Thank you, Juli, for this wonderful presentation. And as a reminder that our next Bluebeam webinar will be on May 23rd. You have I think is the registration box on the left hand. You can just click there and register. Even if you cannot make it, we will send you the on-demand recording. And before we say goodbye, Juli, I think you have something else. Yeah.
Yeah, right there in the background. On previous webinars, we have mentioned it, but always we would like to remind you about Markup X or markups, which is an add-in that you're going to be able to use between Revit and Bluebeam, AutoCAD and Bluebeam. And with this tool, you're going to be able to load up your markups from Bluebeam to Revit. And as you can see right here, there's as well additional features that allow us to bring up some of those markups to Revit, right? So remember Markup X or markups. And that is going to be as well in our YouTube page. You're going to be able to see some of our previous webinars on markups. And as well, remind you, we as well offer the Bluebeam Fundamentals class. That one is going to be in June 4, 5, and 6. Is going to be 3 sessions, right? 3 hours, and we are going to be covering similar topics that we are covering right here in our Bluebeam webinar series. And the great thing about this class is that if you have custom projects that you're trying to modify and adjust, right? You can bring those to the class and you can ask specific questions to your day-to-day work. But yeah, this is everything that I have for you guys today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, that class, you can find it in our website under training, and you will see the Bluebeam options we have. Just search for the one in June 6, 4, 5, and 6, sorry. And yeah, with that, I would like to thank everyone again, and thank you, Julian, and would like to wish that you have a great day. Goodbye, everyone. Bye bye.
Goodbye, everyone.